We just learned about CSS, and in the last lesson we wrote all of our CSS from scratch, meaning that if we wanted to style an element, we had to write the rules ourselves. In this lesson, we're going to learn about a framework called Bootstrap that's a very popular and very powerful front-end framework. It was originally created by Twitter, but now it's maintained independently as an open source project. And there are two primary reasons why we're going to use the Bootstrap framework. The first is that it comes with a number of CSS classes that we can apply to our elements, meaning that developers who maintain the Bootstrap library have already written styling rules that we don't have to replicate ourselves. Instead, we can simply just add a class to an element that we want to style a particular way. The second is that Bootstrap is a mobile-first framework, meaning that it's designed to be mobile responsive. So by following Bootstrap guidelines in our HTML and CSS, our web application will be responsive to the size of the viewport out of the box, meaning that it will look nice on mobile, tablets, laptops, and desktops alike. Of course, we could apply these types of style rules ourselves, but it's just much easier to use a framework like Bootstrap. In order to add Bootstrap into our web application, we need to go to this link, www.bootstrapcdn.com, and copy two files into our index.html. The first file is the CSS file, which we can grab by clicking this black down arrow, clicking on the HTML field, right-clicking copy, and then pasting into the head element of our index.html file. And we also need to copy the JavaScript file from the CDN. And we're actually going to place this script at the bottom of our body element. And the reason why we do this is because our browser is going to load our index.html page in the order that it reads the elements on that index.html page. Now, we of course want our script to load, but we don't want the loading of our script to impede users being able to see the content on our page. And so if we have the script tag in our head element, like we do with CSS files, then our content in our body would actually have to wait for our scripts to load. And we don't need that to happen. So we're going to load our scripts after we've already loaded the content on our page. But of course, we need our style sheets and our style rules to load, because otherwise, if our content loads before our style rules do, then it's going to look unstyled and look bad. So we want to load our style rules before loading any elements in our body that the user is going to see, but we don't necessarily need to load our script before loading those elements. Now, Bootstrap depends on one other library called jQuery, and we're going to include jQuery in our index.html file by going to code.jquery.com, finding jQuery 2.x, the minified version, clicking on it, and clicking copy to clipboard. Then, in our index.html file, we're going to paste this right above where we pasted our Bootstrap script. And that's it. We're now ready to start using Bootstrap in our web application.